In today's video, I am going to be breaking down different 5-out basketball drills that you can use to be able to teach your team your 5-out basketball offense. Now, there's a ton of different plays that you can run in the 5-out, so definitely go check out my complete guide to the 5-out offense that is down in the description below. But really quickly, you should be able to do this with any of your 5-out plays as well. So let's get down and let's check out some of these drills. So one of the most popular plays that you can run in the 5-out is what I call pin down, which is the wings setting a down screen for the corner players who then pop up, or they may cut to the rim depending on how their defender defends them. So what you can do is have a line where you can add extra players here too. We can have lines of different players. So for example, we have 1 line, 2 lines, and 3 lines. And what we are looking to do is, this is the offensive player, this is the screener, and this is the defender. This right here is coach, or it can be a player as well. It depends on how you want to set this up. But how you're going to do this is we're going to have player 5 blue. He's going to set that pin down screen on player 4. Now technically he would be probably further out here, because that would be in roughly help position, maybe even down here, depending on how teams like to defend you. This would be a pin down screen here, and player 3 would then be popping up. He would be lifting to that wing. This would be a pass, and depending on how player 4 red is defending, if he was to go over top of that screen, we may see player 3 like to cut in potentially, but player 3 just needs to get open. So let's say player 4 goes underneath that screen. Pass to player 3. Player 3 takes that quick 3-point shot. Now when you're done in this line, you're going to go in the back of this line, and then of course when you're finished being the screener, you're going to go up here potentially, if of course this is how you like to set it up. And then this man, because he was the defender from this line, he would go in the back of this line. Now the next players would be going. You can also do very similar. Let's set this up with reds being defense, where you can have 2 lines instead. And let's say now you have a chair set up. Now this is a pylon, but let's say you set up a chair. A chair is a little bit wider than a pylon, a little bit bigger than a pylon, so it works just as well as a screen. We can have player 4 and 2 go one-on-one. Player 4 is going to try and get open. Player 2 is going to then try and defend player 4. So for example, if he goes over top of that screen, player 4 would like to cut in, and this would be a pass to player 4. Meanwhile, if player 2 was to go underneath that screen, player 4 should be getting that ball at the 3-point line, potentially re-screening as well, which creates more space between himself and the defender, so that then he's able to then take that shot. This is a very simple, easy, and even fun drill to be able to run. You can have the exact same offensive players go against the exact same defensive players all the time, and then you can say switch, and they just basically switch offense, defense, and you can make it competitive. And what I mean by competitive is you can say, okay, first team, or let's say everyone gets 2 tries. Let's see how many times you can score out of let's say 10 times that you have the ability to score. Now you switch offense, defense. Defense now becomes offense. If they score maybe 8 times, the other team only scores 6 times out of 10 tries. Well, guess what? Now that losing team has to do push-ups, running, or something. Make it competitive. Make there some kind of punishment for not winning, and then of course it's going to become super competitive. If you have a competitive practice, you're going to be a very successful team. Okay, so now you can teach a very simple 5-out play with this 3-on-3 drill, and I always like to go 3-on-3 when teaching 5-out. Basically, you're going to have player 2 choose to either pass to player 1 or choose to pass to player 5. If he was to, by chance to pass to player 1, we would then have player 2 set that screen away. This would be 5-out pass and screen away. And then player 5 would use that screen. Now, depending on how his defender uses that or gets caught by that screen, he's either going to be popping up for a 3 or curling into the basket, depending on what happens. We may even be able to teach our screener, player 2, to split it. So if player 1 starts hedging hard, there's nobody guarding here, which means that he could split, and this would be a pass to player 2 for that layup. See, the nice thing, what I like about 5-out, especially 5-out drills like this one where we're teaching it with 3 players, is now you're teaching players how to screen. Now, I understand some countries in Europe do not allow screens until players are over 18 years old or over 16 years old, depending on where you are. In North America, where most of the people who watch my videos are from, we're allowed to screen from any age. So these are fantastic drills to be able to even just teach screen and roll, as in just screening in general. Now, a fantastic drill that you can teach, let's say 5-out drive and kick, would be this, and it really does teach off-ball movement, and that should be our goal as coaches, is to teach off-ball movement. So we teach player, or we have player 2 at the point he drives to the basket. When he drives to the basket, is this an easy shot or pass, or is it easier to pass to somebody here? Well, he drops and player 1 drops, and now player 2 has the option to kick the ball out to either side. If he passes it out to player 5, if player 5 drives baseline, player 2 needs to fill up. If player 5 drives towards the middle, player 2 needs to fill out this way. Now, this is again off-ball movement for the guy who just drove and kicked the ball. Let's say player 5 drives baseline, player 2 needs to fill out to the wing. And because there was another drive, player 1 needs to move off ball. He can't just sit there, which means that he needs to lift to the wing. Player 5 drives, he kicks the ball out to player 1. Now, after he kicks that ball to player 1 either drives right or left. If he drives left, now player 5 needs to fill out to that corner or potentially out to the wing. Personally, I would prefer the corner. Now, because player 1 is driving middle, player 2 needs to lift. Player 1 kicks that ball, and depending on where player 2 drives, if he drives middle or drives right, at this time, player 1 needs to make that decision. So, drives right, 1 fills out left. He's at the point. Player 5 lifts. This is now going to player 5. Now, player 2 has the decision to go out right or left, depending on where player 5 wants to drive. If player 5 drives towards the left side, player 2 needs to fill out. And you can continue to run this because now player 5 is driving middle. Player 1 now needs to move out to that wing, kick that ball. Now, depending on where player 1 drives, it will depend on where player 5 needs to go. And you can just continue to run this through and passing the ball over that imaginary line, where if you pass it over that imaginary line 4 to 5 times in a possession in a real game, you're going to end up being super successful and probably score majority of the time. So make sure to go check out my complete guide to the 5-out offense that is down in the description below. I hope that this video helps your team win more games. If it does, hit that like button and subscribe, and I will see you guys again in my next video.